Welcome back to Living Out Loud. I'm Susan Karp, the Executive Director of the Arlington Council on Aging, and I'm privileged to have a couple of guests today. I have Greg Tucker on to my right, and Greg is with the Mass Senior Games.
Correct.
And I have Lillian Christmas, who we all know as an Arlington resident, and certainly a winner of one of the top winners of the 5K race that we have in the September. So anyway, I want to welcome both of you. Greg, we've asked Greg to come and talk a little bit about the Senior Games, as well as really what it means to be an older adult. And so Greg, I don't want to steal your thunder, so I'd like to turn it over to you. So tell us a little bit.
Thank you, Susan. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I am Vice Chair of the Massachusetts Senior Games. Senior Games have existed for 25 years. We just had our 25th anniversary Senior Games last year. Our objective is to provide an outlet for older adults who still enjoy sports, who will also enjoy the camaraderie of getting to meet fellow athletes of a more mature level in a variety of sports, anywhere from track and field, which you normally associate with the Olympic Games, but we have folks who engage in billiards and pickleball, which is a very, very interesting net-based game.
Yeah.
It's gaining in popularity. It's sort of like tennis and ping pong and badminton all melded into one. So it's very, very exciting to see these older adults out there competing just the way they did, with as much energy as they were in high school.
Wow. Now, do you find that people are competing in sports that they did when they were in high school or in college, or are there areas that people pick up something later in life?
Both. We have track and field people who are still doing the same sport they did when they were in high school. There's a lady down in Rhode Island, 90 years old, who still throws the hammer, which is incredible to watch.
All right.
But then there are those who have kind of gravitated, as necessary, depending upon how their physical skills have evolved, to horseshoes or shuffleboard or a whole variety of sports. So really we have something for everyone.
Wow, that's great. And you said how long ago? 20 years?
25 years ago was the beginning of the...
ago.
And on the national level, the National Senior Games is having its 30th anniversary this year.
Wow.
That will be in Birmingham, Alabama.
All right.
Every 2 years, the National Senior Games holds its events, and Birmingham will be an interesting city. I'm looking forward to being there.
So then every 2 years the location changes.
That's right.
Very much like the Olympics when they change venues.
Yes.
All right. Do you? So where in Birmingham? Is it just like a
Actually,
college? Is it?
You would be amazed. The National Senior Games attract over 10,000 athletes from all over the country.
Really?
And so really, you're taking over the city during the events. It lasts about a week and a half.
Yeah.
And they use venues from all over the metropolitan area. Colleges will often provide their fields and facilities.
Okay.
It's quite an event.
It sounds like it. I wish we had some sort of video snippet that we could show along with this program. And I really think that things like this, it really is a reminder that you just don't die on the vine when you get older. There is still a very active component to life, regardless of any age. Certainly maintaining health and wellness plays its hand in a lot of things. But,
absolutely. If I might offer, that is one of our primary goals, is to promote wellness, especially among older citizens. And that's why we're reaching out to the councils on aging throughout the state, and also working with the Department of Elder Affairs. And that's how I met Lillian.
Yeah.
Wow. Can you talk a little bit about how you met her?
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely. I received an invitation from the Arlington Council on Aging to come and talk a little bit about the Senior Games at a local gathering at the Senior Center. And many of the folks from the Arlington Senior Center came and listened, one of which was Lillian. And I was immediately taken by her interest in what I was presenting, because she asked several questions, most of which I was able to field. And then afterwards, we had a conversation. We discovered that both of us are members of the same running club.
That, really?
Right.
Yes.
The New England 65
Five
plus
plus
Runners Club.
Wow.
And we had not bumped into each other. The 65 plus has 700 members from throughout New England, and all of whom are very dedicated runners. And,
Yes, they are.
And of course, Lillian is right there at the top of the pack, still running 5Ks. And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could appear and talk about the senior games and 65 plus runners club and councils on aging and all the things that I think are real vehicles for assisting our senior citizens in having a more active and vital life.
And that's true. So Lillian, so what did you think when you drew the connection and how you knew Greg?
Oh, I thought that was wonderful. I said, how many other members is he going to find here in Arlington?
Well,
Senior members, yeah.
So let me ask you this. So with your role in the 65 and older running club, how often do you run?
Not very often.
Not very often.
And when I saw the 5K being advertised, I said, I've been in Arlington long enough. I should be running that race every year. So this is the year I'm going to do it, which was 2016. And I didn't train long, but enough to get the legs moving.
Oh, yeah.
And I figured I could handle 3.1 after doing all those marathons.
Yep. So you used to do marathons?
Oh, yes.
Really?
I've done 7 marathons.
7 marathons.
7.
That was awesome.
And out of the 7, 1 I didn't finish. It was a Boston.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Heartbreak Hill.
Oh.
Well, Heartbreak Hill was a killer.
It was, yeah.
So
I didn't train that year.
You didn't train that year. So have you always been a runner, or did you?
No.
No. So when did you
Never
start?
been when I was in high school, we had to take gym
Right.
to get a passing mark, but I wasn't active in sports in high school. I became active in running, walking and running, when I had a job in Cambridge, Apt Associates, and they were right near Fresh Pond. And I used to walk with a couple of women I met, and one woman said, "Are you interested in running?" And I said, "Well, I can try."
Yeah.
And she started me out. She said, "Why don't you join the running club that I belong to, the BAA, Boston Athletic Association."
Okay. So then that's when you began running, and then you've just had that as a background kind of thing.
That's
throughout
it.
your
And
life.
I liked it. And I said, this is great. You meet nice people. You're outdoors all the time. You're training. And sometimes it was difficult, especially the training for the marathons. That was grueling, yeah, at my age. But I was determined to finish. I always was determined to finish.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And folks in the audience, I'd like them to know, if I may. So
Yes.
today is actually Lillian's birthday. So Lillian is turning 88.
No, 86.
86.
Six
I'm sorry.
today.
I keep thinking my father's age. 86.
6 today.
86 today. So I'd like everyone to take a look at the
86
vitality
years young.
Yep,
of
look
86.
at 6.
86 in running, 86 being involved in the community.
Yes.
A young mind, an interactive mind.
Also a talented artist, I discovered.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yes.
I didn't know.
I'm sorry.
So a talented artist. So, this program is all about, to find out more about the Mass Senior Games. It's also to highlight the vitality as we grow older, and that we don't need to put the paintbrushes or the pastels
No.
or the charcoals off to the side.
Pick
We can
'em up.
Pick them up and do. I think for you, as you were saying, your running has brought you, it's brought you good health.
Yes, it
okay,
has.
because it's maintained
Excellent.
a physical presence as well as the mental presence, but it also has given you an opportunity to be around other people.
Yes.
And I think that's also what life is all about. But for a moment, I'd like to shift back to Greg, and I
Yes.
don't want to put you on the shelf,
No.
but I do want to take advantage of Greg's time here to talk a little bit more how individuals can be involved in the Massachusetts Senior Games. The other piece to it is that there are individuals that have had, you started out walking, that walking turned into running. Now that happened before you were 60, but there are individuals who have been active, physically active, but not necessarily in one particular area, that I'm sure have also picked up an interest in some sport that might also fit within the Mass Senior Games. So maybe if we can talk a little bit more of the kinds of things that you see.
Well, a lot of the older folks are involved in exercise programs that are sponsored locally through councils on aging and senior centers, YMCAs.
Okay.
We're reaching out to those locations as well to let them know, if there are a lot of older folks who just want to exercise and stay in good shape.
Right.
But there are also plenty of them who would like to compete, test their capabilities.
Right.
And that's why we offer such a broad variety of sports and activities. I'm hoping that through our work with councils on aging in Massachusetts that we can have greater access to those populations and be able to inform them and educate them and have folks like Lillian serve as poster children, so to speak, for what's available out there.
Yes.
It's truly amazing. I see the dedication among, and I had the opportunity to participate in the World Masters competition out in California in 2011.
Yeah.
And I met athletes from all over the world who come. This was track and field, which is my area of activity. And I was amazed at some of the competitors, especially from South America. I met some gentlemen who ran the 1,500 meters, which is one of my events, and they at the games level, they go by 5-year increments, so that you have people,
within 5 years of your age.
exactly, so that you're not competing against youngsters, so to speak.
The 60-year-olds or the 65.
Right. It's all relative.
Okay.
But I met some folks in their 90s running the 1,500 meters. These fellows were from Colombia.
Wow.
And running it, not shuffling, running the 1,500, the Olympic mile, in very, very respectable form and speed. So
that's exciting.
It is.
I mean, that's really exciting to see. Are there any documentaries or Age of Champions was something that highlighted the Senior Games, not Massachusetts Senior Games, but just Senior Games in general.
Right.
I'm thinking that we might want to possibly show that again to continue to generate that interest. The month of May, nationwide, is Older Americans Month. So for an Older Americans Month, we always like to highlight the vitality in every single area of their life, whether it's through volunteering, whether it's through just attending the exercise classes or getting involved into something, like this. So let me ask you this. What, if somebody is interested in finding out more about the Mass Senior Games, how do they go about it?
I would say the best way to do that, Susan, would be go to our website, which is www.maseniorgames.org.
Okay, and we're going to have that up on screen, so you don't have to rush and find a pen for that.
That it's a well-developed website. It will tell you everything about the Mass Senior Games. It's interconnected or linked to the National Senior Games, so you can go back and forth very, very easily. We have a new registration system, so that if you want to compete in a particular sport, you can register online very
Great.
simply.
Great.
That would be the source I would go to get the most information.
All right. Now, so is there a local chapter to Boston and Cambridge, or how do the chapters work?
Actually, we don't have chapters.
Oh, okay.
Everything right now is, we originally started it in Springfield.
Okay.
At Springfield College, which has been a sponsor for us for 25 years. And they make their facilities available to us, the track and field, the pool.
That's great.
And that has worked out exceptionally well.
So that's the only venue so far in Massachusetts.
Actually, no.
Has Gordon College on the North Shore been a site? For some reason, I thought they were.
Perhaps they might have been for one event or two. We do have them. The events are spread pretty much through the state, despite the fact that our main venue is Springfield College.
Yeah.
We do, for the various sports, we kind of sprinkle them through the state. We're trying to move the more venues eastward to eastern Massachusetts, so we have better access to potential athletes. It's sometimes, older folks consider Springfield a long drive,
And it can be, and if you're wanting to stay locally, I mean, certain communities have easier access also to hotels if they're not wanting to make that trip all in one day.
And we do have an arrangement with hotels in the Springfield area.
Yeah.
So the folks want to participate in the track and field and swimming and
Wow.
basketball.
Yeah.
Basketball is very popular. One of our very popular sports is ice hockey. We have winter games as well. We're one of the few states that have winter games. Alpine skiing, Nordic skiing, cross country, hockey. We have, I think, 250 hockey players.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You're just peeling away at all these things. So when you're retiring out there and you have nothing else better to do, exercise be a part of this. But actually, we're working longer, and you can still factor in the exercise and the games, because I'm sure many of them are on weekends.
Yes.
Yeah?
Most of the big events are on weekends.
Well, it sounds very exciting, and
I
Lillian,
think so.
I'm just in awe.
Thank you.
I mean, I know that you run, but it's always just amazing how individuals maintain a level of activity, both mental and physical. And looking at you, darling, you're fabulous.
Thank you.
So,
Thank
now,
you.
before we end up wrapping up this segment, is there anything that you'd like to talk about that we haven't touched on? So, for our audience, Lillian, what what are some encouraging words for somebody that may not have been active?
Active. Try something different. Try something different.
I like that.
Find a friend. Find a neighbor. Find someone you don't know. And if you see them walking or running, would you like to have some company? Could you teach me some of your moves? And you'd be surprised, their eyes brighten up.
What an
because you asked them, you invited them into your lifestyle or into their lifestyle.
Oh, I like that. I
Yes.
really like that. Those are great final words that we can share.
Thank
so
you.
go find them. Do something different.
Do something
Would
different.
you like company? Can you teach me? And don't be afraid to try.
That's right.
Don't be afraid to try. And Greg, is there any other last little thing that?
Well, just to, number one, Massachusetts is one of the healthiest states in the country.
Yeah.
Massachusetts.
A lot of it has to do with active lifestyles among seniors. Our affordable health care state plan is doing exceptionally well. One of the reasons is because we have active older adults.
Right.
And I hope we'll serve as an example for the rest of the nation as we're wrestling with this problem, so that more states and more folks such as Lillian and myself get out there and get active, because that is the one thing that will make national health care successful.
Well, and maintaining good health is a full-time job. So I think it's something to take seriously,
Yes.
and take an active approach and be involved. Well, I really appreciate you coming out and visiting us.
Thank you,
I hope
Susan.
to see you again. Lillian,
it's been wonderful,
you are just
Susan.
fabulous. And thank you for coming
Sure
on set
is.
with us today,
I
being a
welcome it.
representation of the
Oh,
vitality that
please.
Arlington.
You made my day.
Well, you made our day. So I want to say thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. Until we see you again.